All right, welcome back again. So I suppose we ought to talk about collections. I am going to focus just on NS array and NS dictionary. I'm not going to focus on C arrays, but just know that you can still do arrays just like you did in C, and that's fine. I'm going to choose to focus on just NS arrays. The one thing that's different about NS arrays is that it can only hold objects. So we do need to be careful about putting only objects in there. So if you want to put in a number, you're going to have to box it as an NS number. So let's go ahead and open up our project and do a little work with collections. Start the same way we started before, and that's to comment out the last kind of playground and put in the next one. So we'll go ahead and put in collections. Its .h file has the same thing. It's got a run function, and we're just going to run this. So let's just go ahead and start off by making a basic array. So the array is an NS array, and you have to say star because it is an object itself. I'm going to go ahead and put in some names. And the way this syntax works is you say at in front of the brackets. And this is a shorthand way. Used to you had to do it a longer way, which you don't really want to know. You say at bracket bracket, and this will convert this into an NS array. And then you can actually just put things in here. It works out kind of nicely to put strings in here because they're already objects and they're pretty easy to just type, right? Whereas if you put some other type of object, it'd be harder to allocate and create. So I'll go ahead and put in some strings, or I'll put in the names of the people in my family. You can put in any strings you want. If you wanted to get something out of that area, that's fine. So let's say you wanted to print out names, whatever is at location index 1. That works just like you would think, right? So you would say it like this, and then you could run it with Control R, and it should hopefully print out Christy, because that was 1. And if you changed it to 0, it would work just like you would expect. One thing you might not expect, though, is that if you want to change it, you would probably expect it to work just like this, right? So this is what we did in Swift. But if you do this in Objective-C, you're going to get an error. And that's because there is no write method for an NS array. That's probably surprising to you, to be honest. And that's because they've chosen to make NS array be immutable. So you can't modify it. It's kind of like the way NS strings work. And then if you want to make a change to it, you have to actually make a different array, right? So they are immutable by default. We'll show you some ways to get around that here in a little bit. But while we're still on arrays, I did want to point out if you wanted to get the length of it, that's not really hard to do. And also you can, if you want, just print out the whole thing. So if you wanted to just print them all out and then say how many elements it has in it, the syntax for that is just to print out the names. And then if we want the total number in it, it's names.count. And count is actually the exact same thing that Swift uses. And so it actually worked fine. It gave me this giant warning about %d, which I don't care about, but if you want rid of the warning, you can say int. And you can see it printed out Christy here. It printed out all the members of the family, and then it said the number of elements was 5. So I just wanted to point out how you do a count. Let's talk about how you make a mutable array, because you were probably surprised that that line didn't work. So let's just go ahead and make another array, and we're going to declare this one as an NS mutable array. And this is something that you'll see a lot in Objective-C. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an array of ages, so it's going to be NS numbers. There's a couple different ways to create a mutable array. One way to do it is to say NS mutable array alloc. Another way you could have done it, and I actually am going to do it this way, another way you could have done it is you could have made an NS array, which would have been empty in this case, and then called the function mutable copy on it. But to be honest, that looks a little ugly to me. So I'm going to put it back to how it was before with NS mutable array alloc init. And now that we've got a mutable array, we actually can do things like adding objects, removing objects, changing objects, things like that. So here you go, I'll just add a couple. So I'll add some ages. And the command is add object. You might have guessed it would have been a pen, but it's just add object. And you could also do things like if you just wanted to modify one of them, that's fine. It's a mutable array. You can also do things like insert object, add an index. So let's just say we wanted to add 42 at location 1. So we've kind of been mucking up this array, and you can do things like removing an object. You could also just remove the last object if you wanted, and see if you can go through and predict what this thing is going to print out if we were to just say ages percent at ages. So hopefully you can kind of work this out. We added 7, 8, and 9, but then we changed the 8 to a 13, and then before the 13 we added a 42, and then we removed the 9, so we got left with a 7, a 42, and a 13. You can print that out one at a time if you'd like, but that's actually exactly what we would expect based on the crazy gibberishy things that I chose to do there. So the moral of the story is, if you want to mutate an array, what you really want is an NS mutable array. So to be honest, you end up using mutable arrays more than you might guess, just because arrays are immutable. And then I didn't want you to type all of this, so I put it in here, and you can just uncomment it. I just highlighted it all and hit Command / to uncomment it. There's really just so many things you can do with arrays. So here I've got a mutable array of random ages. I'm going through and I'm adding 4 random ages. Officially I'm adding ages from 0 to 90. And then what I'm doing, just to kind of show you some more things, I'm printing it. And then I'm doing a sorting of them using a block is what it's called. So we're not going to talk about closures. So I thought I would sneak in a little bit here about a closure. Technically in Objective-C they're called blocks, but they work the same, they just have a different syntax. So you say caret in Objective-C, of course it's some crazy new character. You say what it returns up front, and then you use parentheses for the thing that's passed in, which I think is just comical, all these different syntax that you use. And then this function, what it does is it just compares the two objects to sort them, right? So here are the sorted ages. So if I run this, it should do all the things it did before, and then it should finish by printing up some random ages. I just did 4, and then sorting those random ages. And then just like with Swift, arrays is one type of collection, but then another type of collection is a dictionary. Dictionaries work similar to what you learned in Swift. You can make a dictionary by saying at and then a curly brace. So it does use curly braces like most languages, unlike Swift. So here you can see I'm making a dictionary. If I wanted to get the object for key C, I would print that out. If I tried to get the object for key Z, it's going to print out null. And that's because there's no optionals in Objective-C. Essentially, every object is an optional. So you can see it just prints out null. And then just to make it similar to what Swift did, I'm looping through them. You can see there are no tuples in Objective-C, so I'm looping through them by their keys, and then I'm just saying if the key is H or O, and then I'm printing if it's present in water or not. It's kind of a mouthful to say, but if you look at the syntax and you just take some time to digest it, it's really not that complex. So it'll take you a little bit of time, but it is kind of fun to compare those things to how Swift did them and just kind of see some of the differences. So that's the basics of what I wanted to say about arrays, and I wanted to show you some of these additional sneaky things. All right, that's all we've got on collections. We'll see you next time where we talk about some more fun stuff. See you then. Bye.